Hello, this is Gareth Keane, continuing the series of videos on Visual Basic for Applications. We're going to look at another video here, another application where we're going to write a function. And in this case what we're going to do is write a function that takes these 4 marks for a particular student. You have a student number there, first name, last name, and 4 marks in different modules. And what we want the function to do is to add up the 4 marks, get the average, round the average, and then based on that rounded average, if the average is greater than 70 or more, if it's 70 or more it's a distinction, if it's 60 to 69 it's 2.21, if it's 50 to 59 it's 2.2, and if it's 40 to 49 it's a pass. Anything less than 40 is a fail. Now the way the rounding function, we're going to use the one that's built into Excel, the worksheet function. So if you look at this, it says equal to the round of P3. Well, P3 is this value here, 69.499. So if it's less than 69.5, it rounds it down to 69. If I change this by a very small amount and increase it to 69.5, you can see the rounding function will bring you up to 70. 69.8 automatically gets rounded up to 70 if I copy that down also. So anything lower than 69.5 gets rounded down, anything above 69.5 gets rounded up. So if we then look at the function, I've already done this one. So if I go in Alt F11, and I have it here in module 2. So this is the function. The way I define it is function getGrade, and I'm going to be passing 4 marks. Mark 1 is double, Mark 2 is double, Mark 3 as integer, Mark 4 is integer. So I mix those. In fact, the integer is fine. So I'll switch this to integer because we rounded the marks. We're assuming the marks are rounded. To be honest, it doesn't really matter if it's integer or double. Now this function, remember, it's going to give us a grade. So the grade is going to be distinction or 2-1. So the return type is a string. So I declared over here as function getGrade, the 4 input values, and then the output value, which is getGrade, will be a string. I just dimension average mark as a double here. In fact, I can leave that as an integer also, because I'm using the round function. And I'm using the round function there. I can use the worksheet function. I'll just put in worksheet function, and there it is, round, and basically it'll round the 4 marks. It will sum up the 4 marks, it divides them by 4 to get the average, and then it will round that average to 0. So if we look at it here, to 0 decimal points. So if you look at it here, if the average mark is greater than 70, then getGrade is a distinction. So it's a string. So remember, the getGrade return type is a string. Therefore, I'm going to pass to the string distinction. I need quotations mark to start and finish the string. Else if the average mark is greater than 60, then getGrade is equal to 2.1. Else if average mark is greater than 50, then getGrade is 2.2. Else if average mark is greater than 40, then getGrade is pass. Else if average mark is less than 40, then getGrade is fail. So it covers all the conditions here. And this is a bit like a sieve, that say the first mark is 80, it'll get caught by this one here. It will be assigned, getGrade will be assigned distinction, and then it skips down to the end. So we'll do some examples on it. What I can do is I can put a breakpoint into that. That's the way you test the function to see if it works. Put a breakpoint into it, come out to the spreadsheet, and I type equal to getGrade. So you can do this to debug it, to make sure that it's working correctly, and I pass the 4 marks. So the way I pass them in is that will be Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, and I can't see it there, so I'll just have to type it in, G3, and I pass it in like so. So if I come up here, if I do Control G, print Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, Mark 4, you can see they had the values that were passed in from the spreadsheet. Mark 1 was 87, Mark 2 67, and so on. So they're the values that are passed in when the function is used in the spreadsheet. If I then work out what the average mark is by just pressing the F8 button, I'll print average mark, and it's 77. So we expect, if average mark is 77, we expect this condition here to be true, and getGrade should be assigned the string distinction. So we press F8, and that indeed is the case. So getGrade will be assigned distinction. This condition is then being satisfied, therefore skips down to the end of an n function like so. So that won't work there. If I come here and I pass it down to here, I copy it there, it automatically brings me in because I tried to copy it into the cell below. This time if I print the 4 marks, it now prints the 4 marks for the second student, 45, 40, 97, 70. I come up here, press the F8 button to execute that. I print the average mark. It's 63 this time, 63. So what I need to do is, more than likely, it won't be greater than 70, so that condition will be false. It'll skip to the next condition. This condition will be true if it's 63, and therefore the grade should be a 2-1. Let's see how it works. This condition should be false, and it should skip to the next one. That's correct. This condition should be true, so it should go in here and set the getGrade equal to 2.1, and then having done that, it should skip to the end if, and it does so. Like so, and if we come out here, we can see that grade is a 2-1. Now because I have the breakpoint in here, when I go to copy it down onto the next function, onto the next sheet, it'll also bring me in because it's got moved to the point where the breakpoint is. I come back up here, I print out the 4 marks, and this time it gives me the marks for the third student, 60, 51, 45, 37. I execute that statement, so the average mark, if I press it, is now 48. So if it's 48, I should be in here. I should get a pass basically because it's between 40 and 50. So I'll just press. If average mark is 48, the first condition should be false. That's correct, so it skips to the next condition. This condition should be false because average mark is 48. It's not greater than 60, so it's false. It skips to the next one. Average mark of 48 is not greater than 50. That's false. It should skip to the next one. Average mark is 48, is greater than 40. This is true, so it should come in here, which it does, and it sets the getGrade to be a pass, skips end of, and it finishes up. So I'll just take the breakpoint out of there because you can see that it's working satisfactorily. And then if I just pass it down, this one is a 2-2, this one is a fail. Okay, thank you for listening.